The arrest of Palestinian activist Mahmoud Khalil by federal immigration authorities has become a flashpoint in the ongoing debate over campus protests and immigration enforcement. Khalil, a former Columbia University graduate student and legal permanent resident, was detained on Saturday in a dramatic operation that has drawn both condemnation and support from various political figures. The circumstances of Khalil's arrest are particularly concerning to civil rights advocates. Department of Homeland Security agents approached him at his university-owned apartment, where he lives with his American citizen wife who is 8 months pregnant. According to his attorney Amy Greer, the agents initially claimed they were following State Department orders to revoke his student visa. When informed that Khalil held a green card, they pivoted to saying they would revoke that instead. Video footage released by the ACLU shows the agents also threatened to arrest Khalil's pregnant wife during the incident. Khalil's background adds complexity to the situation. Born in a Palestinian refugee camp in Syria, he arrived in the United States on a student visa in 2022 and received his green card last year. He recently completed his master's degree in public administration at Columbia University's School of International and Public Affairs and was scheduled to receive his degree in May 2024. His role as a lead negotiator for Columbia University Apartheid Divest, Quad, put him at the center of controversial campus protests advocating for the school's divestment from Israel. The handling of Khalil's detention has raised legal concerns. After his arrest, he was transferred from New York to a detention facility in Jena, Louisiana, a move his attorney described as a blatantly improper but familiar tactic. This transfer has complicated legal proceedings, with the government arguing that New York federal court should not have jurisdiction over the case. U.S. District Judge Jesse Furman has temporarily blocked Khalil's deportation and ordered both sides to submit arguments on jurisdiction. The judge also mandated that Khalil be allowed 2 privileged phone calls with his legal team, who claimed they had been denied access to their client. Prior to his arrest, Khalil had been facing challenges at Columbia. He was under investigation by the university's Office of Institutional Equity regarding approximately 13 allegations, mostly concerning social media posts that he denied creating. Just before his detention, he had emailed Columbia's interim president expressing concerns about a vicious, coordinated, and dehumanizing doxing campaign that included death threats and calls for his deportation. The Trump administration has taken a strong stance on Khalil's case. DHS spokesperson Tricia McLaughlin stated that Khalil led activities aligned to Hamas, a designated terrorist organization. Secretary of State Marco Rubio publicly announced the administration's intention to revoke visas and green cards of Hamas supporters in America. Trump himself labeled Khalil a radical foreign pro-Hamas student on Truth Social and promised additional arrests. Immigration experts have questioned the legal basis for revoking Khalil's green card. Aaron Reichlin-Melnick of the American Immigration Council explained that while the State Department can easily revoke visas, revoking a green card typically requires formal charges and a hearing before an immigration judge. However, CNN reported that Rubio may have invoked a foreign policy provision of the Immigration and Nationality Act to facilitate the detention. The arrest has sparked widespread political reaction. The New York Civil Liberties Union condemned it as targeted, retaliatory, and an extreme attack on First Amendment rights. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez warned about the precedent this could set, suggesting that if the government can detain legal permanent residents without cause, U.S. citizens could face similar treatment. State Attorney General Letitia James expressed extreme concern about the arrest and is monitoring the situation. This incident occurs within a broader context of the Trump administration's crackdown on campus activism. The administration recently canceled $400 million in federal grants and contracts with Columbia University, citing alleged inaction regarding harassment of Jewish students. Trump has threatened to withdraw federal funding from any educational institutions that allow what he terms illegal protests and has promised to imprison or deport agitators. The impact extends beyond Khalil's case. The Associated Press reports that federal immigration agents attempted to detain another international student at Columbia but were unable to enter her apartment without a warrant. Additionally, the DHS announced the arrest of a second Columbia student, Lekha Cordia, who is also Palestinian. The human cost of this situation is particularly evident in the words of Khalil's wife, Noor Abdallah. With their first child due soon, she expressed hope for her husband's release, saying, "I think it would be very devastating for me and for him to meet his first child behind a glass screen." Meanwhile, protesters are organizing demonstrations at New York City's Federal Plaza calling for Khalil's release, and his legal team continues to challenge his detention through various legal channels. This case has become a focal point in the intersection of immigration policy, civil rights, and campus activism, raising questions about the limits of governmental authority and the protection of constitutional rights for non-citizens. As legal proceedings continue, the outcome could have significant implications for future immigration enforcement and protest rights on college campuses.